Hey, welcome to Mooney Reads. My name is Beck, and today I'm going to be doing a tag video. I was tagged in the Would You Read It challenge by Audrey from Perpetual Pages. This was a tag created by Bear from Etu Brody, and for this tag, you're supposed to pick a number of books and read the first line, to say what the book is, and nothing else. And then you all watching can tell me in the comments which books you think sound interesting, or ones that you would want to read. And for this, you can pick random books. You can pick a books in a certain genre, books in a certain age range. I just kind of randomly grabbed books that I thought were good, that I thought needed more hype. Some of these I've talked about a lot on this channel, and some of them I haven't really talked about recently. So I'll go ahead and get started. I'll be going in alphabetical order by title. Not that it matters too much since you don't know what the books are, but I'm going to read the lines first and then tell you what the book is. November's flame in that year of hard sunsets, winter's plagency, and days when my insomnia courted cognac. That is the first line of Bastards of the Reagan Era by Reginald Dwayne, which is a poetry collection. And we can move on to the next. I know that the prompt is like one sentence, but some of these I might read like the first 2 sentences or 3 sentences. I'm sure that'll be fine. First, the colors, then the humans. That's usually how I see things, or at least how I try. Here's a small fact. You are going to die. Those are the first lines of The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I became a feminist because of an index card. This is the first line of the introduction to Colonize This, edited by Daisy Hernandez and Busrah Rehman. They burned down the market on the day Vivek Oji died. The first line kind of give it away probably, but that's The Death of Vivek Oji by Akweke Emezi. A wave of humanity flows into the court of the Dallas Mavericks basketball arena, wearing the clothes people wear at 3 a.m., clutching the things that people grab when they have seconds before the world ends. That's the first line of Depart, Depart by Sim Kern. The question for Reese. Were married men just desperately attractive to her, or was the pool of men who were available to her as a trans woman only those who had already locked down a cis wife and could now explore with her? The easy answer, the one that all her girls advocated, was to call men dogs. That is the first couple of lines from Detransition Baby by Tori Peters. Who cares what anybody's got between their legs? Vicky whispers in exasperation. I'm the choir she's preaching to, so I figure she doesn't really expect an answer. That's the first line from Drag King Dreams by Leslie Feinberg. The next book, the first line is the title, which is true of most of these that I've read. But I'd like to read the title with the first line. So, question. What feminine part of yourself did you have to destroy in order to survive in this world? Answer. I'm trying to figure it out. What would it look like to leave the house and not be afraid of being bashed? That is the first piece of Femme in Public by Alok Fadamenon. This is their poetry collection that they have. I think it's self-published. You can get it through their Instagram. Illness is the night side of life, a more onerous citizenship. Everyone who is born holds dual citizenship in the kingdom of the well and the kingdom of the sick. Although we prefer to use only the good passport, sooner or later each of us is obliged, at least for a spell, to identify ourselves as citizens of that other place. That is the first paragraph of Susan Sontag's Illness as Metaphor, which I recommend reading in tandem with AIDS and its Metaphors, which is how it's often published. It isn't that you don't like boys. It's that you only like boys you want to be. That's the first line from The Lord of the Butterflies by Andrea Gibson. I never read prologues. I find them tedious. If what the author has to say is so important, why relegate it to the paratext? What are they trying to hide? That is the first bit of In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. Tonight, 5 years from the day since I lost you, 48 white-throated sparrows fall from the sky. That is the first line of The 30 Names of Night by Zane Jukadar. The sight of pink-blue gender-coded infant outfits may grate on your nerves. Or you may be a woman or a man who feels at home in those categories. Transliberation defends you both. That is the first line of Transliberation, Beyond Pink or Blue by Leslie Feinberg. As Esther breathed in the sweet, musty smell of the horse blankets in the back of the librarian's wagon, she chewed on the I told you so feeling that had overwhelmed her since her father told her the news about Beatrice. She'd known that none of it would come to any good. She'd told Beatrice as much. Tried to tell her anyway. That's the first couple lines of Upright Woman Wanted by Sarah Gay Lee. Last, certainly not least, I could try to tell a story that ends with resolution, but the only way to succeed would be to lie. If I lied, I would be whole at the end of the story. And those are the first few lines of A Year Without a Name by Cyrus Grace Dunham. So, those are some first lines of some great books that you should read, that more people should read. I know that some of them have a little bit of hype. In the Dream House, Detransition Baby, Upright Woman Wanted, Akweke Emezi, rightfully so. Some people are talking about them, but not enough. And the rest of them need to be talked about more point blank. So, let me know in the comments if any of these sounded interesting or if you thought any of them had interesting first lines. I'm going to tag some people in the description, not really sure who yet, but if I don't tag you and you want to do this, feel free to say that I tagged you. And be sure to check out Audrey and Bear's videos as well. They have some really great books. In fact, they both put a couple of books that I would have put on this list if they hadn't already, so definitely go watch those. And thank you all so much for watching. Bye.